Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai, Barakata Yah, Bashim, Yahushai, Bashim, Kalkadash, double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles and bishops of Great Stone, to the Akim Akwaf, trod the four corners of the earth, holding on in sincerity and in truth and diligence of mind to the gospel Lord Amashak Yahushai in these days and time. This is Brahmanasha DC Camp, small lesson for the hopeful elect. Yep, so, this conflict with Amalek has ignited over there in the Middle East. It's just stirring up the minds of these people across the globe. Folks protesting for an end to the conflict, but through the Spirit, according to the words of prophecy, that conflict has to be expanded, and it's just the beginning stages, and it's a good thing that the words of prophecy is being fulfilled before our very own eyes, and there's nothing these folks can do around the world to stop it. No amount of petitions, protests, or hunger strikes. It cannot be stopped because it is the will of the Lord. So over there in Greece, you have the dock workers, those that walk along the ports. They're upset that their country authorized the shipment of ammunition to the land of Israel. And, they're not having it. And it just shows you that it's going to be a rough, a rough experience for Amalek in these last days. And it's not just me saying it personally, but according to the words of prophecy, Amalek is going to get it. Just like our forefather Moses, prophesied that the Lord will take care of business against Amalek. When you read the book of Numbers chapter 23, I read verse 23 and 24. In fact, I'll read it real quick. Because these so-called Amalekites, man, so-called Jewish folks, man, the Lord is going to make them feel so uncomfortable for all the heinous acts they've committed upon the face of the earth. And they're going to be plagued immensely. The Lord has an extensive list of plagues He's going to unleash upon them, man. The Lord's about to do a number on these so-called Jewish folks, and it's just the beginning. That a lot of people are beginning to realize that the governments of the earth has been infiltrated by Amalek in the top nations on the earth, and it's gonna get ugly. You can always see it in the spirit. So that's why you have to be always ready, man. In fact, there is no plan that Amalek can do against children of Israel, the real children of Israel, the so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, and so-called Native Americans, man. When someone tries to use your identity to commit heinous acts, and then you out there preaching the gospel, and then folks start looking at you like, what's going on over here, man? Becomes a difficult experience, like a difficult reputation, a tainted reputation that you're trying to clean up. Someone steals your identity, now your reputation is on the line. So what do? You have to start rebuilding everything from the scratch. Despite all the opposition you're going to have to deal with. Because a lot of people rather side with a lie than with the truth. That's why it's very, very important, to remember Numbers chapter 23 and the book of Exodus chapter 17. All right, because a lie, you know, it's just how Esau, what he uses to deceive the people, you know, an enchanter. That's what Esau's mass media is all about, man, to keep the people in a comatose state that they cannot reason functionally. You know, they cannot reason with wisdom, despite its overwhelming availability. All right. So read the book of Exodus, chapter 17, 13 to 16. It says, and the Lord Yahweh Shema Shabbat Shemukakada said unto Moses, write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, for I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. Yep, so this is just the beginning stages, man. Right, the Lord has set Amalek in slippery places, and it's just a matter of time that you know, they realized that the Lord had taken them for a ride around the corner, and it was a worthless adventure they decided to embark on, because they are on track to lose to lose everything that is so-called worked hard for. Yeah. So the enterprise, man, the Lord is gonna disannul it. You know, despite all their so-called progress, it's only a matter of time that the Lord will tear down Edom's accomplishments, man. So the downfall of Amalek, the so-called Jewish folks, is the downfall of the nation of Edom, and it's Edom that is pushing hard for this war. All right, World War One, Edom. World War Two, Edom. World War Three, Edom. So they try to pull the nations into it. Yep, they want to pull the nations, you know, the other heathen nations into a war so they could achieve their final goal. But the Lord is not going to allow them to achieve that final goal with deception and build up a lie, a false narrative to send the world into a war. And then they think they're going to get away with it and come out as victors. You know, all those although up chaos, order out of chaos, the Lord is going to put an end to that so-called abuse of principle. Yeah, the abuse of principle is not going to be allowed to stand anymore. Okay, there will be no more unrighteousness coming out of these chaotic events that they've been trying to pull for centuries over and over and over. So the Lord is going to bring down correction. That's why you have to understand the value of the Most High's words. That's why I have to get this quick precept. You know what? Isaiah chapter 14, verse 7. The earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Isaiah 14 and 7. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. So when the Lord finally cuts off the remembrance of Amalek from off the face of the earth, the whole world will be at peace. You know, the whole nation of Edom has been cut off, you know, from their power seat. Then you're gonna see peace upon the earth. You know, when it's the whole earth is gonna be at rest. That's gonna be at the beginning stages of a new era. And that's what we've been waiting for, man. We're just waiting for the calamities to pass on. And it's all prophetic, all right? It's just like a roller coaster. You just have to go through the final ride, man, for you to have a wrap up, and that's about it. And then the roller coaster ride is over. The circus has been shut down. So this circus of unrighteousness has to be shut down. That's why the Lord has given us these words of life. The real bread of life is what we are holding on to, not this so-called bread and circus of this world. The real bread that we need is about to be revealed to the whole world, how powerful it is. Yep. So end of the day, man, it's gonna be so perfect. Do the comparison about the bread of this world and the bread of the Lord Amashak Yahushua has given us. One leads to death, the other one leads to life. So those that are so hell-bent on holding on to the bread of this world, they're going to be swept up, all right? They're going to be swept up by the indignation of the Lord when he's judging the land and the nation of Amalek. So that's just how powerful the Most High's decision is, okay? So, so it just proves that the book of Daniel was on point concerning the 10 toes. All right, so read the book of Daniel chapter 2. We'll start from verse 41. Okay. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. So it's still going to be strong, but at the same time, not as strong as they would like it to be, because there are certain nations, man, that they're tired of all these worldly campaigns. That's the reason why, the Lord Hamashach Yahushua said, the kingdom divided against itself shall not stand. And this is just the words of prophecy. And then Daniel 2:42 says, as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. Yeah, so they're not going to be able to be as effective as they want to be, because the Lord, built in that division. He put in that sign, what you call it, the signature of division. All right, so the EU is not going to be able to be in one accord just like they always wanted to be, because that 1 hour, man, the 1 hour that they had a chance to rule with one big fist is over. Now the division is going to be visible, and the streets are going to be packed with people protesting, man, and they're going to go after their so-called leaders, for approving the ammunition going over into war. Because when the people are screaming and yelling they don't want no war, there's nothing they can do about it. So they're going to be upset. It's going to be so bad for these so-called ministers, man, all these members of parliament, these EU members. It's going to be so bad. And Amalek is going to be so upset that they're finally about to reap the fruits of all their labor. The judgment of the Lord. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Yeah. Scripture talks about those that sow iniquity. So you can imagine what the Lord has in store against Amalek. So the people are going to be so badly. They're gonna be so pissed off at Amalek, man. That Amalek is gonna be asking, the so-called government for that protection, and it's gonna be bad, man. All hands. When you see all hands coming against Amalek, it's coming. You could see it through the spirit. And you also see that, when the Irish folks begin to speak up, and it's only a matter of time, and when the next chapter, will be revealed, as per the actions the Lord wants to take place upon the face of the earth. So it's going to be perfect. It's going to be perfect. So, and then Daniel 2:43, and whereas thou sawest iron mixed with marry clay. Yeah, how's that possible? Iron and clay mixed together doesn't sit well. It's basically an uncompleted job, like you just patchwork. Just put it there for for show purposes, but it doesn't work. You know, you have clay, like finished clay when you put inside a fire, molded clay, just like a pot, a clay pot. You polish it. All of a sudden, it give you that tone, like that's like steel, iron. But when you do the testing of it, like this stuff is not even steel. It looks like steel, but damn, you know, all of a sudden you start seeing the cracks because when you start testing the objects, you see exactly what's going on with it, man. Testing the nature of the object, before you know it, you start seeing the crack, just like the weather conditions, snow, rain, hail, storms, all that stuff. You see cracks in the concrete. That's exactly what's gonna be visible, and that's exactly what it is. You know, you can't attach two dissimilar items together. Clay and steel. Nah, it doesn't work. Yeah, just like oil and water. Yeah, so it's gonna be that crack is gonna be visible. Okay, and then it says, "They shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay." So there is no unity. That crack has to reveal itself. That's just one of those universal laws, man. So certain things cannot be connected to each other, no matter how hard you try, to glue it together or tighten it together. Eventually, to fall apart, and that's just how it is, man. Things fall apart, man, at the base, for Edom. So we go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 28, and let's see what verse 20 says, man. It says, "For the bed is shorter than that a man can stretch himself on it." So that's a discomfort. When you think you have a great opportunity, before you know it, it's like it's passing you by. All of a sudden, you start feeling uncomfortable. That's exactly what the elites of Esau are feeling. They're running out of time. They say, "Oh man, we just have these huge accomplishments to push, to accomplish, man. You know, these final benchmarks that they're trying to reach is not going to work because the Lord has already appointed the time at which they're going to accomplish certain things. So whatever extra that they want to push forward is not going to work because the Lord has already decided, how far He's only willing to allow them to go. Isaiah 28 and 20, "For the bed is shorter than a man can stretch himself on it." So a bed is like a place of rest, a place of refuge, a place where you get to sit down, relax, and gather your thoughts together and plan. But when you don't have enough time to plan, that's it. And the covering that he can wrap himself in it. So all their accomplishments, man, will not be able to sustain their goals. The plans that they have, the systems that they put in place to have them create generational wealth is going to start falling apart. And that's why, the scripture says that, man, the Lord has to start attacking the wealth of the super elites on the earth. That's why they're calling for censorship. So by them calling for censorship, that just shows you that the bed is getting shorter, right? And, they're talking about deplatforming people for so-called hate speech. So if these social media companies are going to be blocking people from uploading information, it shows you that somebody somewhere at the top is upset and nervous that the cracks is coming, to become invisible to the people. Okay, so you just have to learn to abide with the word of the Lord. The book of Amos, chapter 1, verses 9 all the way to 11 says, "Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shema Shabbat Shemagakadash, for 3 transgressions of Tyrus, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because it delivered the whole captivity to Edom, and remembered not the brotherly covenant." So it's going to be tough for the heathen that came against us, all right? And the Hamites, man, they're going to have to answer for their injustices, man, for them going against the promises, the leagues that our forefathers made with them. So, yep, it's going to be bad, for the heathen, and it's going to be horrible that they're not going to be able to withstand, that pain and punishment the Lord is bringing upon them. They'll not be able to overcome it, okay? And then verse 10 says, "But I will send a fire on the wall of Tyrus, which shall devour the palaces thereof." Okay, so it's gonna be tough, for the heathen nations, man, especially Edom, the kingdom of the so-called white man, to be effective as it used to be, when the Lord is pulling the plug on his rulership over the face of the earth. Now you see they're desperate. They're calling for all this climate change agenda to be adopted, and a lot of nations don't want to go along with it because they see that it's basically putting them further into the hole, holding back that so-called development. And the Lord is really pushing that spirit of liberation, that spirit of the people looking for freedom. The Lord is pushing that stuff so hard, and it's going to gain so much steam, man, that Amalek is going to be upset that he has to rush and start creating all types of false flags. Yeah, so when the United States sends their troops over there, to the land of Israel to man and set up a aerial, bombardment defense shield, it doesn't change anything, man. You're just making them sitting ducks. They're trying to create another pretext for them to get fully engaged, fully involved in the war. And a lot of people in the world are seeing it, man. Just imagine, when the Congress has not even voted for the United States to go into war, but you're sending troops into a so-called war zone. Yeah, so it just shows you that, the system is just moving, man. That, the so-called government doesn't have to wait on Congress to declare war. Yeah, man. So it's over. It's over for Babylon, aka America. And yeah, Amalek is gonna be pissed off, man, that everything they work hard for, that the Lord just incinerated it. All right. So Amos 1 and 11. For thus said the Lord Yahweh Shemashah Bashim Kakadash, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he pursued his brother Jacob, or Israel, with the sword. Yeah, so that's just what it is, man. The so-called white man has always been oppressing so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, and so-called Native Americans all over the face of the earth. Whether that's over there in West Africa, East Africa, Central Africa, South America, Latin America, the Caribbean, North America, even in Canada. It's just something the Lord has to account for, and it's just a matter of time when He's going to accomplish that quick riddance. And did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. Yeah, so what do you expect the Lord to do? The Lord has to bring about a system to execute justice upon the so-called white man. Okay, and it's going to be rough for them to remove their neck from the trap that the Lord has set for them, and it's going to be totally brutal, totally brutal. I kid you not, it's going to be totally brutal when the Lord unleashes his vengeance upon the house of Edom. So go for the book of Job, chapter 20, and we look into a few verses. All right, 22 says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. Yeah, so when it looks as if that he's gaining, the upper hand, all the way to the max level, the Lord has to tear it down by causing the people to rebel against their government. And that's just what it is. The Lord has allowed that spirit of freedom to be unleashed upon the face of the earth, that the people don't want anything to do with the governments anymore, man. That the government has already gone amok. That the government doesn't listen to the wishes of the people. It's not a government, and that it has to be removed, and that's how you're gonna have a civil war. And it's not just gonna be in America. It's gonna be across the world. In certain countries, when the people are gonna stand up against their government for going along with the agenda of the elites. But hey, it cannot be stopped. It's just part of the Most High's recipe to stir up the downfall of Edom. Okay, so the word for wicked in that verse of Job chapter 20, verse 22 is Imal. Okay, and Imal is another word for the oppressed, for the laborers. All right. Yeah, laborer, sufferer, wretched. Yeah, so it's gonna be across the world, even in these so-called Latin American countries, man, where you have huge populations of Amalek, these Jewish folks. They're gonna be, approached by the people, man. They're gonna be approached, and you're gonna see the dynamics of things, man. And it's gonna be so horrible for Amalek in this last days, because man, that anger of the people, man, is gonna be so boiling hot. They're gonna be cussing Amalek out so bad, man. Doing all types of things against Amalek, because they've seen the chaos that Amalek has instigated upon the face of the earth. Just like the Lord said, the least of the flock shall lead them out. Yep, so that's just how it is. That's always easier to pinpoint who is leading the flock. And when they see this Amalek as the one pushing it, and they put themselves into all these top positions in government, then the people will know exactly that it was all coordinated. Yeah, it was all coordinated, deliberate, because now whatever was done in the dark has to come to light. So now that people have a reference sheet to operate with. Okay, so everywhere you have Amalek, all of a sudden, it's a free for all. Oh, yep. So verse 26 says, "All darkness shall be hid in his secret places. A fire not blown shall consume him. It shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle." So the remnants of Edom are going to have to deal with the brunt, of the people of the earth. Okay, and it's going to be sad for them. Very, very, very sad. All right. So we look again into the book of Joel, chapter 2. Verse 11 says, "And the Lord Yahweh shall utter his voice before his army." All right, that's his so-called nuclear missiles. Just say his nuclear missiles, man. His intercontinental ballistic missiles. For his camp is very great. For he is strong. For he is strong that executed his word. For the day of the Lord Yahweh is great and very terrible, and who can abide it? So this day of the Lord is being set up, man, to bring his indignation upon the house of Edom, upon Amalek, all right, to tear down the system of unrighteousness. And the Lord has to thoroughly purge his floor. So the Lord's harvest has to be conducted, man. The Lord has to separate, the wheat from the tares. Dust, how it is, man. So it's a beautiful series of events that we're looking forward to seeing in these last days. And just to wrap this up, go back again to the book of Job, chapter 34, and verse 33. What does it say? "Should it be according to thy mind, he will recompense it, whether thou refuse or whether thou choose, and not I, therefore speak what thou knowest." So as the man of the Lord, man, you're not in control of the events that are happening upon the face of the earth. Your job is to understand the words of prophecy and to let the people know that just like the prophet has no say in what type of events has to take place, Amalek has no say either. It's just a puppet for the Lord. So the Lord has to use Edom as a catalyst to destroy himself. And that's exactly what we're seeing before our eyes. It looks as if he's coming against us, but in actuality, the Lord set him off for self-destruction. And that's what it is, man. When you have a creature that's in peril of causing havoc to other livestock, you have to eliminate it as quick as possible, man. The creature has to be put out, put down as quick as possible, not to jeopardize the entire flock. And that's exactly what the Lord of Mashiach Yahushai is about to do. He's not going to allow the Amalekites to accomplish every single item of their agenda. So he has to put an end to it. So when you see the dock walkers out there in Greece, preventing the shipment of ammunition to the land of Israel, to the Israeli government. It's just a glimpse of things to come. So let's play a piece of it. Yeah, that's just what it is, man. So that's the point there. Right to our Lord, we allow these things to speed up, man, because we need that salvation as quick as possible, man. We gotta be freed from this captivity, and the Lord has to initiate, the self-destruction of Edom. That's what it is. So we have to keep our faith in the Lord and Mashiach Yahushai, in these times of persecution, and be ready to hear, what we're supposed to do next, to keep our faith fortified. And that's about it for this lesson. Shalom.